Lady, with authority. Good afternoon. This is the April 13th River White Salmon Bridge Authority meeting. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Start with roll call. I see from Oregon, I see Mr. Paulson, Arthur Babbitt's, Mr. Edwards, and online I see Catherine Thomas.
I'm on too.
And for Washington, you're ahead of me. I see Ben Berger online, Mark Flaming here in the office, and myself. That gives us a quorum. Are there any modifications or additions to the agenda? Hearing none. Board meeting minutes for March 23rd. Any comments on those? Hearing none, we'll just...
I would make a motion to accept the March 23rd meeting minutes as presented.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. We will go ahead and do public comment. Either here, we'll start with here in the room and then we'll go online. 3 minutes per person for up to 30 minutes. Is there anyone here in the room? I'm seeing no comments. Anybody online that would like to make a comment? Seeing none, we will keep moving. That gets us on to executive reports. Grant, do you have anything?
No, not too much. I'm just excited, happy with all the work and quantity and quality of work we've been doing over the last short amount of time. For those of you not in the room, there's just a lot of work that has to get done in preparation of trip to DC, all the other compliance and work that we have to do that a lot of people do not see, just to make sure everything gets done. Staff, contractors, everyone does a lot of work just to make sure all that stuff gets done. So I'm appreciative of all of that, especially prep for our BIP application, assuming we are successful in receiving that. And then once assuming we receive that, being able to execute on that. So I'm excited to execute on it, assuming we get it.
That's it. All right. Thank you. I just want to do one point of clarification. I don't think it's a surprise for anyone, but just kind of get it into the record. We introduced Keith Hirschman last meeting. And we've had some internal discussions along with him and along with Catherine Thomas. And what we're going to do is Catherine Thomas is going to move over to the communications committee and begin serving on that. And Keith Hirschman is going to join the engineering and construction committee. So that's, I guess, official kind of notification. There are probably some invitation adjustments that need to happen. Thank you, Kelly.
Yes.
All right.
Do we have to take action to do this?
We decided we don't need to, but if just to be what we're doing. So that gets us into executive reports. Mr. Shannon.
So we're continuing to coordinate with HRWSBA and the tree tribes. We're having ongoing meetings with those. The Umatilla agreement is still holding pending FHWA's signature. They would like to have some more discussions with Umatilla related to the construction access roads and some cultural resource clearing that we need to do in that area before they sign. So we started those conversations. We'll be going out to do that cultural clearing soon. I don't know if we've got an exact date yet, but that's upcoming. And then once we do that, then I believe FHWA will be ready for signatures. So we expect that to happen here in the next month to 2 months. The other tribes, they just we continue our ongoing kind of conversations with the other tribes.
And did I read correctly that the Yakima tribes are looking to participate in that clearing as
They do,
on site?
yeah, because that's kind of Yakima's area. They would like to have monitors out in the field for any of that work that we do on the Washington side, including geotech work. If we do those online borings, we need to make sure that Yakima's aware of and invited to participate in those. So,
Can you say a little more about, I know you can't give real details, but give a little more flavor to what is going on?
So with
This potential clearing.
yes. Okay. So during the NEPA process, there was a work area that was established, and the area was cleared for going cultural investigation to determine if there are any cultural resource remains there, artifacts there that need to be identified. So they do a process to go out and verify if there is or isn't anything there.
I'm confused. I thought that was done during NEPA.
Yes. So
Because
during
we had a
NEPA,
report which describes
Yes.
the lithics they found and how they determined, yeah.
so during NEPA, they clear a specific area.
Right.
So that was done during NEPA. As we've gotten into the construction, we've identified the areas outside of that.
Oh, okay.
And there's areas outside of that you can. So that's what we're looking for right now is those outside areas.
Is it, so it's tribal archaeologists that are being brought in, or?
It's archaeologists in general that have I guess they would, you could say they have a travel experience.
Yes,
Um,
they're qualified.
Yeah, so they're qualified to do it. So it's a very qualified process, a
That's
very
fine,
defined
yeah.
process to do it. Because Yakima Nation's historic area is in that area,
Right.
they have a higher interest and
Sure.
they would like to be on site to kind of help monitor that. We work through ODOT and their archaeology department in order to facilitate that as well. So
I thought these were in Washington.
they are, but because Oregon was part of the NEPA process and had signed over in Oregon DOT was kind of overseeing the NEPA process. They're continuing to do that even through this time.
Thank you.
So. So we can, yes.
We're talking about cultural resource clearance. We're not talking about vegetation clearing.
Correct.
So it gets confused sometimes people hear clearing. It's just
Yeah, we should use the term investigation probably more than
investigation.
clearing.
Then you get into, is it walking or is it shovel probe? Or
Yes, there's different layers. We are doing a police shovel probe, which I think then will lead you to other ones if you see something.
Is there a time expectation on this?
We're working with ODOT and FHWA right now, but
Identify
to
that.
work on the timing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting some maps together to show the actual areas that we need to do, and then getting their sign off, and then we'll get out to do that work.
This is not critical path, is it?
Yes, not direct to the project, no, but it's important because it leads to other things getting finalized.
Sure.
So it's not something we want to wait for.
Right.
The infra grant is still kind of the same status. It's been sent to the Office of the Secretary of Transportation. So we, as when we go back to DC next week, we will be having conversations with them just to inform them or check in on that and make sure that they're informed of where that is. We did send over the information to Tom Goldstein with the FHWA Oregon Division for the STIP update, the State Transportation Improvement Plan, in order for them to fund the right-of-way phase so that we can move forward with that. So in order for the FHWA right-of-way person to authorize us to move forward with that, we need to get that phase funded in the STIP. So we're working on that. We sent that information over to FHWA, and then once it's in the STIP, then the CDS money, which was earmarked for right away can then go through their process and we can get the CDS money. So
The alignment of the.
we're aligning the
bucket.
accounting buckets. Yeah, that's a shorter way to say all that. We're still working on the bridge monitoring. There's some troubleshooting the Cuba's working on right now. Under the informational items, we've got some time, so I'll let James brief everybody on that. A little more in depth on that at that time. So we did have a good meeting with Cryptic recently last week. To their they've come don't know this one. They call it SPOD.
Oh.
I don't know what SPOD stands for. I tried to look it up and I still don't know what SPOD stands for. It's their advisory group to their council. So it's kind of their leadership team, but it's a smaller group of their leadership teams. I know it makes it up, but I don't know what it stands for.
The description's good too.
Yes. So we met with them we had previously had some discussions with them about the project and we were looking at maybe accessing through the TFAS for some things. Since we moved on and decided we're not going to do that. So we're giving them an update on what our current plan is and that we're not planning to impact the TFAS site. We also went through tree fishing access site. We also went through the screening that we'll be doing, the access road on the north side of the railroad, the temporary and permanent easements that we need on over the water portions that they own, that BIA owns, in order to get those, just continue those conversations. So we'll continue to do that. We said we're preparing for our DC trip from April 20th to April 22nd. We're meeting with congressional members from both states as well as USDOT and Build America Bureau and FHWA staff. So all of that in trying to just reinforce our need for the fiscal year 26, but also just the project's readiness for construction.
Can you remind me who's going?
Myself, and we need to take an action on this today.
Later.
It's myself, Dan, Mar, Commissioner Thomas, and Commissioner Berger. So we had also previously authorized one commissioner since we found out and heard about our fiscal year 25 bridge investment program. The discussions were that we should get authorization for a second member to go. So we'll have more discussion about that. And then main focus, we've got the 30% design, the over the shoulder review. It's kind of a progress print is what I would call it. It's not a full stop and print and production of a set of plans, but it was a check-in set of prints. Staff are going through those now. We've had one-on-one workshops with Kiewit's subject matter experts and our subject matter experts to just make sure that the plans are progressing well. Everything I've heard where Jeff is that it's going well. I haven't heard any major issues. It seems like the plans are where everybody would expect them to be at 30%. So all things look like they're going well from the production of the design standpoint. Our 60% deliverables, which is our full actual production set, will start coming in June, July, late June, July, August timeframe. They'll come in different parts. Will come in on that information then. So
And then that whole thing, we start the reconciliation and budget estimate process in August.
Yeah, so as soon as that comes in and towards the end of that process, we will do another cost schedule risk analysis with FHWA to just as an estimate validation. So all indications are that the cost will be where we are right now. We believe we've actually increased some of our contingency with some of the work we've done since the last estimate, which was in January 25 when we finished 15%.
So is it fair to say that there haven't been any surprises and you've been working hard to
reduce,
find ways to make things better?
Yes. Yeah. And we've gotten in the geotechnical boring that we've done so far, we've gotten through, I think, all of the locations now except for 7 and 8, which are right next to the channel. We're waiting on a permit to be able to get to those. all of the other locations have generally been what we expected. There's some minor, adjustments of feet, but nothing substantial to the project.
It's been pretty exciting with the barges where they are right near the channel. The other day, one of the stern wheelers was coming in at the same time as the barge was coming up the river, and those barges are there, and it sure looks really tight in there. I wish I'd grabbed a picture because it helps dramatize how narrow the channel is and how important it is from a shipping point of view to widen that channel.
Absolutely, yeah. 4,000 feet of bridge gets very narrow all of a sudden. So, yeah. So that's it.
4,000 feet. You mean 150
The
feet?
4,000 foot of bridge length, the river width that you have out there.
Oh, but you can only go through
250 foot. Yeah, it gets really tight to get everything through. Yes. That was everything I had.
Thank you. Relations. Jake, do you want to?
Legal.
Did I jump something?
Legal.
Oh, sorry. I got ahead of myself. Thanks, Jake. Hold on. Just hold there. We'll be back to you. I don't do it in order, I'll get it lost forever. So, legal report. Is Mark there?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Mark Reno with Foster Garvey. We're legal counsel to the authority. We submitted our legal report this morning, so that should have gone into your confidential email box. We've switched the form of reporting from kind of a narrative structure that we were updating periodically to more of a log. We've had a lot of projects and little of me, and so we're trying to streamline this and involve the administrative side of our firm so that we can keep on top of deadlines and completed work product in a little bit more efficient manner. But it has been a little bit of a slow start, so I apologize for that. We have the log format is pretty brief, and so if the commissioners would like more detail included in that, then we're happy to do that at the end of the month and include that in the report, and we can discuss that at the next governance committee meeting if that is the pleasure of the commission. Other than that, we do have a fair number of items that will be discussed at the governance committee meeting, the next one. So I'm going to try and get that information, get those work products out by Friday or Monday, so that people have a couple of days in advance to look through those and digest those before we have those discussions in committee. And if there's pardon me?
Yeah, I'm confused. This must have been so confidential that I didn't receive it. Did anyone else get it?
Nope.
Sounds like it didn't get through, Mark. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, I don't send it to the commission directly. I sent it to.
Okay. Okay.
Kelly has it. We're good.
Okay. So there we have it. I need to get the report out earlier, and then we need to confirm that it was received and distributed. So we'll add that to the protocols. We're actually kind of developing a legal counsel protocol to ensure that these types of glitches are fewer and further between.
No problem. And just to confirm, our meeting on the governance meeting is
the 23rd, right?
Okay, so we rescheduled to not overlap. We have the right-of-way meeting also, right?
You didn't reschedule. I didn't know about the right-of-way.
No, we moved one. Let me just check. I'm sorry.
To 22nd.
22nd. It's the 22nd at 10. I'm sorry. I think I put 23rd in the report, and it should be the 22nd.
Shows the 22nd on the agenda here.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and we have the right-of-way meeting, which was originally scheduled at the same time. And we moved that to 11. So, okay. So that'll work. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Anything else, Mark?
No.
All right. Thank you. All right. I think I'm ready for Jake now. Thank you for Grant keeping me honest here. Yeah.
Hi, All good afternoon. Good to be with you. Kolb and Ryan are on the hill, filling in, doing my best Jim Kolb impersonation. We'll see how it goes. As Mike Shannon mentioned to you, we've got an important DC trip coming up this coming week. As Mike mentioned, we are meeting with folks at DOT, both in Build America to keep them posted on our TIFIA app work, as well as folks with DOT and the Office of Secretary to continue to share with them key information about the bridge. We also are going to be meeting with several congressional offices, including Senator Murray, Senator Cantwell, and the Commerce Committee, Congressman Benz, Congressman Newhouse. We also are going to ask Senator Merkley to put in a call to Secretary Duffy. Rep Newhouse is teed up to do that as well. But in light of the information that we all have seen in the last couple of weeks, in which FY25 round is done, there were 2 awards. Good to see that the program is still moving forward. Glad there are only 2 awards, leaving more than $3 billion, as you know, for FY26. But this is the time for us to make our full court press to the Department of Transportation and to our congressional delegation to help us out making that case. So that is going to be the focus of not just this upcoming in-person meetings in DC, but we also will be communicating with congressional offices before, during, and after, virtually by phone, as well as with staff in district, to make sure they are apprised of how important this federal funding is and that we are ready to go.
We're going to tag along with a waterways group or some sort of advocacy group. Is that still happening?
Yeah, they're still going out. We'll be trying to connect with them as well.
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest
Yeah.
Waterways Association.
Yeah, PNWA is out there at the same week. That's a good flag. And members will be attending many of those meetings as well. We had advanced conversations with PNWA about making sure that for congressional offices, when they come and visit with PNWA in the big group, that we also utilize that as an opportunity to highlight the critical importance of this bridge. As you all were just talking about, the importance of the movement on the water with barges. And so that is something that they're interested in helping us doing. We have been on their agenda, on PNWA's agenda, but we want to make sure we highlight it at this year's DC fly-in as well. So that's something that we've discussed with them.
Great. Thank you, Jake. Sorry, I'm going to miss you this year.
I'm very sad. But Commissioner Berger will do his best impersonation of you. I know.
Do you want to go ahead and?
Sure. Just one quick update at the state level. Both Thorn Run Partners and Brad Boswell from Boswell Consulting are reaching out to our local legislators and governors' offices just to offer a quick project update at this point. So that's the latest at the state level.
Can I ask questions? So first of all, there continues to be, this maybe more of a general communications issue, but there continues to be confusion about whether the project was fully funded. I still see people online saying, why are they still looking for money if the project is fully funded? So can you set the record straight on that and explain why you recently put out a memo explaining why the EIP, the Bridge Investment Program news is good news, and could you explain that?
I'm sorry, could you reframe that? Which part? The
recent, the 25 awards.
Okay, just a little bit about that. Yep, sure. So we put up a post on the project website, which I can send around a link to as well. But so the project had applied to the Bridge Investment Program in 2 successive funding rounds, the fiscal year 25 round and the fiscal year 26 round. The application was for $532 million, which constitutes the remainder of the financing package that we need in order to go to construction. So U.S. Department of Transportation reviews applications, and on their own timeline, they issue awards. And so up until last week, we didn't know if those 2 funding rounds were going to be issued concurrently, or frankly, if anything was being reviewed back in DC. But a week and a half ago now, the DOT, the Department of Transportation, did release the fiscal year 25 funding round awards, where they awarded 2 projects, one in Pennsylvania and one in Alaska, for a total of about $708 million. So like Jake Okenberg mentioned earlier, that leaves just the fiscal year 26 round that's still in play for about $3.3 billion left in that pot. And so our project still has an application pending in that round, and we are waiting to hear back from the U.S. Department of Transportation.
So the good news is the program is moving forward, and that there's considerable money still left for projects like ours.
And we had a better score for the 26 application than I did in the 25.
Mm-hmm. And you'll remember the 25 application we put in November of 24. And then we got notice that we needed to resubmit in June on a very constrained timeline. I think it was 14 days. Mm-hmm. And staff scrambled to make that happen. So that's the one that we didn't get.
And the first part of my question is,
can I just make a comment that goes to that point? And that is that our 2026 application is actually a very different application than our 2025, and it's much better. So as the commissioner, the chair mentioned, our 2025 application was a resubmittal of our 2024 application. And after that application was submitted, and that application incidentally was scored as highly recommended. So it was a good application in its own right. Then between the 2025 submission and the 2026 round, FHWA issued a completely revised set of guidelines for the cost-benefit analysis. And so between those 2 applications, for the 2026 application, we actually completely redid our cost-benefit analysis and actually improved our cost-benefit ratio to 1.9. We also went through a process of aligning. They also issued some guidance on realigning the applications to match the priorities of the current administration. The 2025 application reflected priorities of the prior administration. The 2026 application has been revised to reflect, an emphasis on the new administration's priorities. So overall, all of the experts that we have involved in this are thinking that there's certainly no reason to think it won't be highly recommended, and that it is a stronger and better application. So our fingers are crossed on that one.
So the second piece was that when we received the record of decision, there were a bunch of news items about that, and people still seem to be confused and believe that that receiving the record of decision means that we're good to go and everything's full speed ahead. So can we again state for the record that that is our environmental, is clearance the right word? Environmental approval process. That doesn't mean that we have the money. What we have the money for is for the design process, which is underway, and the actual construction funds are awaiting this award, which is why we are so eager to have people in DC to represent our project to get us that money.
And on the comms side, we're aware of this issue and do our best to make sure we characterize anytime we talk about going to construction in 2027, we say things like pending the full, the receipt of, the last piece of federal funding, or we find ways to include that every time. People don't always
Read through the
People don't always
sentence.
get it. They don't always see it. We will continue to endeavor to make that clear.
I think people get 6 words into the sentence, not 10 words in.
That raises a good point. I mean, I've read them as they've come across feeds, and I think actually the columns were crystal clear.
Oh, they were definitely correct.
So I'm curious, like, how large is this confusion to which you refer?
I am getting it virtually daily, and I have been for 6 months now.
Who you hang out with?
What platform do you get it on?
Well, this most recent one, where did I see it? I think I saw it on the Inform Hood River Facebook page, was what I saw this weekend.
Okay.
And it wasn't, it wasn't Inform Hood River, it was people commenting on it who were obviously confused. And I don't know if that got corrected. I didn't step in to correct it, but I don't know if it got corrected or not. But
Yeah, I was curious if it was a platform that we're not on, but we're all over Facebook. So
yeah.
okay.
At some point, I hear some of the similar things, but I did speak to someone today who understood,
yeah.
do we know about our last piece of funding? So the message is available.
Absolutely. And as Mark said, I too looked at all the comments just to make sure there wasn't some place where it was stated in a misleading way. And Mark's right, it is clear. And as you said, all the statements have that explanation, but I think there was an exuberance to the record of decision announcement that left people feeling like, oh, everything must be moving forward and going to happen now. And
Christy will tell you it's not all smooth. Still a lot of work. All right. With that, partner updates. Anybody have anything to share? I see Caroline.
Nothing in particular, just would be happy to participate to the trade fair with you.
Okay.
Let's talk a little more about that.
Okay. Thank you. Kevin or Patty, anything to add?
I was just asking Amanda if she had any updates on bridge closure updates. Amanda, do you have any?
I don't know if I'd say we have updates. We did have 2 bridge closures, one the 3rd to replace the expansion cascade on the Oregon side of the bridge, which went off without a hitch. And then we had the 2nd closure, the 10th, to start replacing signs that we ran into a little bit of a hiccup there. So one new sign is up for the tolling. And then we have obviously some pending bridge work with HDR scheduled for mid to late summer into fall, with some WJE work scheduled to go on kind of in between those.
Okay, thank you. If there aren't any other comments, I think we'll just move on to the consent agenda. So, Catherine?
Thank you, Chair. Just for my own clarity, who is voting on the Oregon side?
On the Oregon side, it should be Arthur, Grant, and I guess Catherine. Yeah. Yourself.
Okay, thank you. Just making sure before we move forward with the consent. Thank you.
Yeah, can you clarify on the Washington too, please?
I think it would be myself, Mark, and you, Ben.
Okay.
Keep us all on our toes.
On that subject, if I could suggest to the chair, a good way to do this is instead of you going through and trying to figure the quorum out and figure all that out, to ask staff to state who the voting members are.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Just a
suggestion, answer. No, I've lost where I am.
Sorry.
Consent of invoice.
Consent agenda. And I was going to clarify, do we need to do those one at a time or can we do them all together?
Only if someone has you only have to do it one at a time if someone has a conflict.
Okay. So we have, let's start with invoice approvals.
I'll move to approve the invoices.
I will second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
They moved.
I think we were.
Those are ayes.
Those were ayes.
Those are ayes. Okay. Those opposed? So we have another issue here about authorizing an agreement and contribution funding to the Army Corps of Engineers for their review of the 408 program. I think there's an explanation of that. Is there?
I move to authorize the agreement and contributed funds for the Army Corps of Engineers Section 408 program.
Thank you, Catherine.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay. Final one. This is a task order for the next phase of services from Clear Trail CPAs for auditing services and keep us in alignment. Do we need to say anything more about that explanation? No?
I think chiropractors keep you in alignment. This is to keep us financially healthy.
Tomato. I'll move that we authorize task order number 2.
I will second that.
Is there any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. It seemed really tough for a consent agenda, but okay. Committee reports. Ben, can we start with you?
Yeah, sure. Yep. So, a couple of things from our last committee meeting. We reviewed TIFIA and kind of where we're at in that process, and we're going to start taking some actions to restart the TIFIA process, including getting CDM Smith reactivated. We also talked about alternative financing if TIFIA is not an option, or if we weren't able to get it. We believe that there are good but more expensive options that are available for us if we do need a TIFIA alternative. We went through the Baker-Tilly gap analysis, which was a process that we started in reviewing the infra agreement to look to see for any if there are any compliance areas that we should be concerned about, or if to review some of the language around payment terms. There was meaningful progress on the payment term discussion. That's still sort of in final review with our TIFIA grant agreement. And then there were a number of findings that came out of the Baker Tilly's review of our internal controls and processes. And so those will be addressed systematically one by one with plans. So those are already in process and believe don't represent an imminent sort of that there's no additional sort of containment that needs to be taken, but we're going to address them over the next couple months and have everything sort of as clean as we want it to be for any government reviews or audits that we'll see as a result of our federal or state agreement. So it's kind of some helpful external feedback on all of our processes and controls. And then we looked at other funding opportunities and Carrie gave us a kind of rundown of those. It sounds like there is one grant application that is open that will be adding sort of into the mix to apply for in this cycle. That's a resiliency program, so that would the primary use of funds is for reducing risk from natural disasters. So Bridge is a good fit for that from the earthquake perspective. So just kind of building additional sort of options if we need them. Obviously, we're still very, very focused on getting the bridge investment funding, which would enable the 2027 start. And then the budget committee process is underway and has a timeline, and we have commissioner or a budget committee members that are still active from the last round. So that should be a smoother process this time through. Grant, Mark, did I miss anything?
I was maybe just to highlight the important part of the discussion around TIFIA. So maybe this is a surprise to me.
That's a surprise to me. I was going to ask that. So please do.
So Mike, correct me if I am wrong here, but basically it was the level of uncertainty related to TIFIA. And on its best day, it's a very long process. And that's relevant because once we get this BIP, if we want to get into the water.
Hey, how do you go? Good. I'm checking in for
and then they sent it out for the
last week. It's called TOMSA.
We know. Okay. So just because of our timeline, if we were to get BIP in the next few months, there is a space in which we have to demonstrate full funding for us to be able to start. And TIFIA, at its best, is longer than that period of time. And the second is that apparently TIFIA applications have been less certain than they have in the past. People have, in the past, the assumption has been that when all of things are lined up, TIFIA is almost automatic, and that has not been the case in some recent applications. So anyway, I don't know if there's some more detail than that, but it's just an awareness that TIFIA, as this last little tiny piece that we need to plug, TIFIA is not necessarily our only option, and we need to be fully prepared probably to make a quick decision on it should we get the BIP funding.
Yeah, that was really a surprise to me, and I think it's really disappointing to hear, but I guess it's reality.
Yeah, it was surprising nationally to a lot of people, and Carrie can speak more to it, but it's kind of unprecedented actions that have been taken. So we took a look and just said, okay, well, if this does happen, what are our options? And we do have options, and that was the biggest takeaway from it is we have other options. We're not tied to.
Yeah, I guess
when we were back there last year, they were really positive about it.
We're going to meet with them again this year.
Yeah.
We're going to see what their conversation is like this year. But yeah, I mean, last year they were like, come to us. We got lots of money and we want to give it away. And recent actions don't say the same things.
And there are a lot of projects that simply have no alternatives.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that we have alternatives, but I think if that's really the case, that's very unfortunate.
I would encourage us to take a breath for a moment before we get too far down the road on that. So
you think it's going to work out?
Yeah. I would say the same thing. I mean, it seems like a low likelihood that we have an application and we wouldn't get it, but there's traditional bonds, that infrastructure bonds, that we would be, a candidate for. So those, they're just going to be a little bit more expensive than TIFIA would be. The other thing to keep in mind is that, while the TIFIA process is long, so is the grant award process, or the contract. So, just getting the BIP tomorrow doesn't mean that we're ready to start spending BIP funds. So, we're just trying to align the timeline so that we don't end up waiting on TIFIA without spending anything unnecessary.
Catherine, you have a question? Comment?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I guess my question was more, do we have a sense of what types of TIFIA loans have been denied? Are they bridge infrastructure projects, or is there a similar type? And I don't know if the staff can answer that right now, so I'm not putting them on the spot, but it might be something like they're not approving a certain type. I'm just wondering if we fall in that category. And my second question was more to Ben's redundancy. So let's say we do get the BIP tomorrow and we need to move forward and our potential TIFIA loan application is denied. It is reassuring to hear that there are redundancy factors being looked at, but is that really where our focus is on bonds? Over.
Gary, do you want to take the first one? And do you know about the answer to that?
Oh, so yes. It doesn't appear to be focused on types of projects. It appears to be more focused on geography. And as Commissioner Flaming started out by saying, the traditional wisdom has always been that if you get all the technical details correct and meet all of the requirements, that acceptance for a TIFIA loan is almost automatic. And lately we have seen, and more than a few clients around the country who have had their TIFIA loans not approved at the last minute. And it just appears that perhaps there's a little more politics in the process than there has been in the past. And that is not something that TIFIA has had as a factor before. And I think it's important that this whole exercise that we presented to the Finance Committee last week was really done just to let you know that you do have other options. Your legislation that created you allowed you the authority to issue bonds, allowed you the authority to issue to borrow private money if you needed to. That would be the least favorable option, probably. And so really, it was just a matter of letting you know that you do have a plan B and a plan C. And I think it makes sense to know that as opposed to putting all your eggs in one basket. The bottom line is TIFIA is still our best alternative, and that is the one that we're pursuing with vigor.
So I have another, I guess this is more of a comment than a question. Ben had mentioned that we're applying now for resilience-related grant, and I think it's worth us reminding everybody or restating the strength of the resilience argument on our bridge. And the way that I've seen it encapsulated that was most effective is the fact that in a Cascadia reduction zone event, there are currently no modern standard seismic bridges across the Columbia River. The recovery of the Portland and or Seattle urban areas may well be strengthened by the ability to get material across the Columbia River by our bridge.
Any bridge.
Well, any bridge, but I mean, this is the cheapest alternative. This is going to be in place long before the bridge in Portland is.
So add to it too, ours is probably the closest, or is the closest to reality of construction. Like Bridge of the Gods isn't even looking at it. The Downs is not looking at it. So ours is really the primary bridge that's going to end up being seismically resilient.
What about the 405 bridge? Or the
205? You mean 205?
205, yeah.
It's not.
No.
It was built just before the standards we're advanced.
Yeah, Glenn Jackson's too old.
Only by a couple of years.
So
yeah.
Did we get that? Good report, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine, are you able to take us through the E&C committee discussion last week?
Yes, sir. I sure can. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Of course, yes. So I was on the meeting for the first 90 minutes. I believe it did go over. And during that time, we talked a lot about the permitting and the 408 and one of the consent agenda items that was on today. So the engineering construction really did speak about that and the need to put this on our agenda for today to move forward to ensure that we are not having any sort of permitting stop our forward momentum and ensure that we can turn dirt in October of 2027 as we planned. And then we also we discussed the escalation index, and we are keeping a hawk eye on that and ensuring that we have an idea about the trends and how that will affect our price. Right now, we assumed a higher escalation than we are seeing, so we are in a good spot, which was really awesome to hear. And then just going back to my notes, we talked more about the permitting update. So Christy is in the room. If anyone has any questions about that status, I do believe I heard her voice, correct?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I just want to make sure that, I don't want to overplay or underplay the importance of permitting. And so I think that's been very beneficial to have Christy present at our engineering construction meetings, just because she can answer quite a few questions. And that was the bulk of the meeting this past time, was really ensuring that we understood the need for the vote that we just had to work and ensure that our permits can move forward and then kind of set us the permits and then the escalation index. Did I miss anything, sir?
Thank you. I think the one other thing that we did talk a little bit about was another refinement on the north side trestle and access, and I think that was in preparation for the meeting you had last week. So that was real helpful to see that. So again, so Arthur?
Yeah, I'm confused because our meeting is next week. We should be listed as the second meeting, not the first meeting.
we changed it.
Yeah, we changed it last time on the second. I think your meetings are these meetings are monthly and you're every 2 weeks maybe. And so it changes depending on the month you're in.
Okay, in any case, so we discussed a bunch of legal issues which don't need to, the detail is not particularly important for everyone here. And we talked about the right-of-way discussions, which will be happening. The first meeting is scheduled on April 22nd with Jake Anderson and myself representing the Bridge Authority, and we'll be meeting with folks from the port to start talking about acquisition of the port right-of-way. And that's all I can report.
All right, thank you very much. Jacob.
Yeah, thank you. So first off, I want to say thank you to Catherine Thomas for joining our committee. We will now be a full-fledged committee in the first time in the last 8 months, so that'd be good. A few things we've been working on. Spring newsletter will be coming out pretty soon, so we're just dialing in our messaging and information that we send out to the public. The communications team's been working on I don't know if it's the right term, but a trade fair, working with the local community college students and getting them interested in the opportunities related to bridge construction. And so that's going to be happening in May, I believe, at the end of the month, the beginning of May, down on the waterfront. And so Staff have been coordinating that with all the entities involved. And then a big one that Dan's going to walk us through hopefully later this meeting is the website refresh that we've been working on. Just trying to sort of adjust how we present information and sort of make things a little bit easier to navigate on our website. So are you going to do that now or a little bit later?
I sure can. I can make it quick.
Okay. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
It'll take somebody to do a screen share. Maybe Amy, are you able to go to hoodriverbridge.org? I don't know. So like we've discussed at previous meetings, the goal of the website was not a complete replacement, but more of a refresh. Make it reflect the project and the phase that we're in. And so the team at HNTB has been working on this for the past couple of months. And just this morning went live with the new landing page and navigation. And so the refresh is nearly complete. Sometimes it takes a second to render when it's being projected, but you'll see a revised landing page here. We've got a video that is typically smoother than that. But it's a video. It's a combination of drone shots of the old bridge with traffic flowing, a barge, mixed with renderings of the new bridge. So we'll be able to update this video as we go along and the renderings are updated. If you could scroll down, Amy.
There's a lag.
You'll see there is. You'll see a carousel listing the virtues of the new bridge. Below that, you'll see. So the idea was if somebody is just going to our website and just checking out the landing page, that they get kind of a encapsulation of our kind of strongest messages and what the project is aiming to do. We also, another goal of this was to narrow down the navigation options. So previously, if you mapped out the old website, there was like 15 different places people could go and then branches and branches off of that. So we've narrowed that down. You'll see kind of a thinner navigation, set of navigation options up top. Amy, can you please click on About?
Sir. Project overview, cost of funding.
There, yeah, if you click just project overview. And so this is kind of the main message of the project. So under About, we've got the main overview here, and then we've got also our new frequently asked questions. So those were also rewritten to reflect the project for the state that it's in. We won't go through those now, but feel free to do so on your own time. We've also narrowed down the, what is it? Something in my eyes are really bad. What is that? News and resources page to. So you'll find project newsletters on there. This is where all the content that was on the old blog will live. We'll post earned media pieces as they happen up here. Brianna can also format her great work on social media and post that in here as well. Staff are still, working away on a few final points of refinement here. I found a couple dead links down in the documents earlier in the day. So we have a list of those things that need to be finalized. And if you're going through on your own time and see anything that needs attention, please let me know. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, teams worked really hard on this the last, 5-6 months. It seems like you guys have been working on this. So really excited to get this out to the public. And like Dan said, I mean, there might be a few little things here or there, but we felt that it was time to just go ahead and release this refresh out there so people can access the information that's there. And obviously at the top there, it's multiple language options, so Spanish as well. So to reflect, our community that's going to be looking at this website. So thank you, Dan, and your team for putting that together. That's it. So if you have any questions.
You said frequently asked questions. Am I not seeing where are those?
It's under the About header.
Okay, could you click on those?
Don't know if
Eye test, okay.
it was the second sentence though, on the
Okay.
project overview.
I just want to see if it explains, is the bridge fully?
Are you looking for the funding question? Yeah.
And the other question that I keep getting asked is why are the lanes so narrow?
On the existing?
It's
On the existing,
No,
under the new bridge.
I think what people mean is they're really asking two different questions. Number one, why are the shoulders 4 foot instead of 8 foot? The answer being that we don't want people to be stopping on the bridge. And the second thing they're asking is why aren't there 2 lanes in each direction instead of 1 lane in each direction? And that would be because of traffic numbers.
Don't warrant that.
It's simply unwarranted.
To date, more than 563 million has been secured. This includes a list of sources. The Bridge Authority is actively pursuing the final 532 million through the Federal Bridge Investment Program.
Great.
Period.
Thank you.
Right.
Sure. I think we
Yeah,
can navigate away.
Yeah, that's.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sure.
Thank you.
Mike, do we need to say anything more about Career and Industry Day?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the event is coming together. It's on May the 20th. We just met with the partners in the group, and the Bridge Authority and the project are just a component of this. It's a much larger group. We've been meeting with the local unions. A number of them, I think 10 to 15 of them are actively coming out. They're going to bring their simulators out. WashDOT's going to participate. They're going to be coming out. We still got to follow up again with ODOT to see if they're coming. We've got a number of schools. I think we're approaching 300 potential kids coming out, both from the Oregon and Washington side. We've reached out to our travel partners to see if they would like to participate and come out. So the port has been gracious. They've allowed us, or going to allow us to use lot 1. So it's a great site, got plenty of parking, got plenty of space out there. So we're getting all of that organized. We've got a couple of contractors, so we can bring some material, some equipment out. So it should be a great event.
Fill some of the potholes and pull up.
Yeah, we'll build a bridge while we're there, and
Call that hands-on learning.
But it's really, it's really starting to take shape, and it seems like it's going to be a really great event. So we're working on some flyers. I think there'll be another flyer come out this week that we can send out to folks, and hopefully you all can all come down and attend. And it's really the focus of it is on informing students that there are other options to college. And what do those look like? And how do they do that? How do they get into that type of a career? And really show them that that's out there and what they can do. So that's the main focus of it. And the Bridge Project is just there to say, hey, you can go to all these different great unions, and this is the type of project you could work on. So I think it's going to be amazing. I mean, for what has came together in the last month, it seems like it's going to be a really great event.
Yeah. Remind me again, what's the date?
May 20th.
Thursday, May 21st.
21st.
From 9 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Thanks. You got Catherine again.
Catherine.
Yes, and I will be there present in person. And thank you to the Port of Hood River, because we're doing all of their lot 1. So I think it's a really great showing of all of us coming together, right, to try to inspire our local community, but really to show how all of us together want this bridge to be built, not just the authority, not just, White Salmon, everybody together. I think that really speaks highly of our community. So thank you, Dan, for rallying all us together.
Catherine, will you be back by then? Or is that just a visit?
No, that was just a visit, but I will be back in person for the September meetings.
Great.
We were driving cross country in August. Yes.
Okay. That can't be your picture there, is it? That doesn't look like you. That's you? I forgot what you look like. Yeah,
that's me.
Okay.
That's what I look like at one time in my life. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. So no unfinished business, new business. Do you want to take us through these, Mike?
Sure. So we've got a couple actions here. One is a new policy. It's on the project grant administration policy. So it's really documenting procedures and processes that we already have in place and just putting that into a policy. So, if there's anything you want to add to any details?
It's just the overall overarching policy that how the grant administration program is being handled with a responsibility and roles and responsibilities of who's managing.
We've been doing that now for a number of years, federal grants, state grants, both Washington and Oregon. So we're starting to get some experience at doing that. So that's a good thing.
Get formalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as a reminder, when we went through our audit last year with Clear Trails, there were no findings, no errors, no problems with all of our grants. Grant writing. That's good results. And that's why we create these policies, keep it up. And so that way, when we are awarded full funding, it's good to have these policies in place. So comply with CFR rules and all those good things.
Is there a reason were we told to create this policy, or are we trying to be proactive?
It is a part of the 23 CFR 175 to have this kind of a control over the grant administration. So, like Grant said, we had a review by Baker Tilly that we have a pretty good, the audit by Clear Trail. We have all the needed policies and procedures, but this one, I mean, there was actions taken and the processes are being done, but we need to put it as a overarching policy. So it is a part of the requirements. Sorry, it's a wrong answer.
Answer is yes.
Long answer, say yes.
Documentation of what we've been doing.
Right.
Yes. But it is important that but also that this was discovered. We went through so many things that are required, and Tahi went through an analysis to figure out, are we missing anything? And this is one of the things that popped up. So we found it before it became a problem.
Proactive best practice governance. Yes.
Yes. That's what I was trying to say.
So can I make a motion? I would make a motion that we,
Chair can't.
The federal rules actually may allow it, but it's probably best not to.
Okay, go ahead.
You can ask for one. You can ask for one.
I will make the motion that we adopt the grant administration policy as stated.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Right. We have one more.
Yes.
DC travel.
So the second one is something we talked about earlier. Is to allow for a second commissioner to attend. So it would be both Commissioner Berger and Commissioner Thomas to attend the trip to DC.
And the argument is that we now know, because of the 25 BIP action, we know that the 26 BIP action is very critical, and we need to get folks in DC aware and understanding precisely what our time schedule is and the importance of our project. This may be our last chance.
That's correct. Yeah, and it gives us representation from both Washington and Oregon.
That was the other thing that our lobbyists came out most strongly on. We had talked about a different group, and they said you need to have voters from both states that are their representatives, and it was kind of a non-negotiable.
Okay.
And then I think it just gets to, like Mike said, we don't want to come up short on the last push.
Good.
So,
would you like a motion?
Yes,
I move that we amend our travel approval to include a second commissioner.
I'll second that.
any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. I was an aye, but I didn't get in there fast enough. Kelly, if you keep the track. Was there one more?
Professional items, and more action.
Okay. I'll let you run through those.
All right, informational, Dan, anything else to add on key messages? We probably touched on everything. Bridge monitoring update, Kiewit continues to work on getting everything up and functioning, so that we have a good baseline. We do have a couple sensors that are not acting correctly. So I need to go back out and look at them.
Take the plug and plug it back in.
Maybe reboot, start, plug in, plug back in, not sure.
I got a degree in that.
Yes, we'll be working on that with them. We have to bring some of that back to the E&C committee for some discussion.
Does that require any bridge impacts?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
That's what I'm kind of waiting on them to give me a full detail of what they need to do, so we understand that, and then we can follow back up with the report. We'll be using the ropes team, which is the team that accesses the bridge on a fairly regular basis, so they're very familiar with the structure.
Bridge rope swings.
Yes.
I thought that the parts of the instrumentation that are on the bridge are all passive.
They are transmitting. So the tilt sensors and vibration monitors are actually transmitting data. So we're
not just mirrors located there.
No, that's the prisms. So there are mirrors as well, but there's the vibration sensor and tilt sensor are actively transmitting information. And then tying those into the back office, I'll call it, or the server system, and getting all that to talk.
You're going to tell me what kind of transmission that is?
No, I don't know.
I asked before you.
It's a data transmission, so I don't know. You could tell me a lot more. All I know is they have to talk. What language they use, I don't know.
Give me an acronym, I'll figure it out.
But he'd have to use an acronym.
Yes. And I wouldn't know the answer to that acronym.
I'll translate it.
So they're working on getting all that set up. Once that is set up and we get a couple weeks of solid data, then we can look at the monitoring plan to see what evaluations we want to do for the temporary piling, or not temporary piling, the test pile program. But we have to get this functioning and set up first. So we'll come back to you on that once I get that up and running.
And Kiewit is working on developing that test pile
They
program.
are in the, yeah, I haven't seen any initial cost runs or anything, that they are putting together what they want to look at. They're getting quotes on materials. This test pile program will involve barges and actually putting material in the ground and grabbing things and vibrating things in the ground. So they have to get quotes and material for this. They are working on that. The public law refresher is April 27th.
And Mike,
You know,
when does
yes.
Kiewit believe that they will have this program working?
I don't have an answer right now on that, Catherine. I'm waiting for an answer from James on that. So, and that's part of, we need to have a discussion with the E&C committee.
Okay, well, I'm no longer on the ANC, so I urge my fellow colleagues to get this going because this was very expensive and we want the data to go to construction in October of 2027. So every day we don't have this program, it feels like it just frustrates. It's just frustrating, as I'm sure you are, Mr. Shannon, but.
Yep, we've expressed that to Kiewit.
Just to expand on it, a lot of the data is seasonal and we only have one season.
Yes.
So we've lost part of the year.
We've lost part of the data, yeah.
That's some of the frustration.
The public meeting law refresher, so April 27th was the date for that. So
I'll be right here.
It will be here. Yeah, I don't think you need to be in person for that.
I believe Mark and
Oh, yeah.
to actually do it during the meeting as a
Yeah.
presentation. Yeah.
So Mark, virtual is okay for the commissioners since you'll most likely be virtual, right?
He may.
Which Mark was that for? Mark Reno?
Oh, sorry for you, Mark. Yeah, that's the public meetings law refresher and April 27th.
Yeah. So the way that we usually do those is all virtual is fine so long as someone that wants to can come into the meeting room and be there in person.
Okay. Yeah,
I think
do it actually.
I think that's what we set up. I think that's what we set up for you before when you met over in Portland at Kiewit's offices.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna do it during the regular board meeting as part of the board meeting, so.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Okay, and then we did attach the annual report, so that is officially complete. I think the only thing we need to do is to switch out a page with co-chair's letter. So other than that, your first annual report is complete.
I did send in one comment. Is it?
Yeah.
But, you did mention the photo?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
To make sure that the photo is reflecting the real people.
Yeah, we have to Photoshop that, or we tried to get you all together.
I know.
Tried to get all 12 of you in the same room at
My
the same
bad.
time and be ready for a picture is
And
a difficult feat.
Commissioner Berger had a small comments, and then we'll try to reflect that as to strengthening this importance of this bridge as an economical development tool. So other than that, we didn't have any other comments.
Yep.
So
We're considering it final with some minor tweaks, but part it'll be done. Once it's done, it'll get put up on the website and available as a public document.
Was this produced by the comms team or who prepared this?
It was a combination of people working on it. Yeah, comms helped with a lot of the graphics and things like that. Tiki and others worked on portions of it. There's a number of people.
And who is the audience for this?
It's both legislative, but then just the general public, just to document kind of the project on an annual basis and the agency on an annual basis. So it's really not as much to me about the project as it is about the agency's annual report. Right now, your sole purpose is the bridge, so that takes up a big chunk of it, but it's really your agency annual report. Most agencies do this, and this was just this was your inaugural one, and we will do it every year.
And it will evolve to something probably simpler that talks about operations, maintenance, and tolls.
It will be much simpler next year. This year caught everything from the creation of you all the way through December 25, so there was more than 1 year. In the future, it will be a much smaller update than one was to get to this.
So we're going to do annual reports annually?
Yes. Annually.
I think I got to throw a couple acronyms at them just for that.
I might. That was everything on the informational and in the upcoming actions. There's a budget committee meeting May 11th. Other than that, the other ones are just additional policies that will be put into place.
All right.
Standing items.
Anything for the good of the order?
We got one. The Raise Grant is working completed their review of the action plan. But the next steps is they're looking to do traffic studies at key intersections in the next month or so in White Salmon and Hood River. So I'm interested to see folks' opinion. Is that something that should publicly share, or is that something that's just gonna live inside the action plan document? Like, are we gonna release the full study information?
Yeah, our plan was to release that data as a supplemental to the action plan as an appendix to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that remember the action plan was really developed to allow all the local agencies to take that and use it as a basis for other grant applications. This data is just an appendix to that to supplement and add additional information that will be useful in applying for those grants. It'll give people more data to base their needs on and base their decisions on. So we weren't sure exactly where we were going to end up budget wise on the action plan. So we had a little bit of additional money. So these were kind of our second tier list of things that would supplement that. And this was just one of the more important ones.
So one of the things, and it's been a while since I've looked at the draft, but one of the things that the Raise Grant seemed would be beneficial longer term is designating specific areas that might be attractor uses. along those transportation routes. So is there a way to designate a location as some sort of a tractor function that then, it's not this entity, but it's some other entity that maybe takes on developing that idea of a tractor use for bikes and pedestrians or something like that, or maybe it's a semi-enclosed area for a farmer's market that has a permanent location in the future or something. And it's not really a defined use, but it gives you an option to someone to spur an idea. Someone wants to dig in and champion. And then it at least has a basis and it ties to a broader transportation plan. Maybe that's beyond, I know it's a little different take on the scope that we started off with, but it seems like when you're doing a transportation plan, creating a tractor use is kind of a key point of a plan like that.
So on the Oregon side, this is supposed to mesh with the transportation system plans of the city and the county. And does Washington have a similar concept? Is that?
I think so. It's probably not quite as developed, but.
Okay. And so does that mesh with that concept?
It could, and it kind of, I think the revenue or the fee that we have to do that would affect how deeply you would go. But if you do, for example, you've got some general uses down in Bingen. Is there one of those use that you start to look at in the future that becomes, you've got the park there. Is there something that goes next to the park that complements the park use? Is along a bike and pedestrian walkway. I think it goes on both sides of a block there. And, what is that use? Is it a farmer's market or just kind of throwing ideas out? But if you start to identify something like that, and you don't have to identify the use, but it's something that generates some of that transportation.
Are you asking us to prescribe that or?
No, I'm just saying that the study that we've done could say, these are the transportation paths and there's an opportunity on this block or that block that could be further studied and developed into something, and then you leave it at that.
So just identifying opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity. So we can talk to the group about that and see.
And
think about what that
my guess is if you're talking with the smaller municipalities and there's 2 or 3 people that have some sort of idea that's been bounced around in their head at some point.
There are probably too many.
I will guarantee there's more than 2 or 3 people that have.
All right.
Yeah. The question is how widely do you open the door?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems it's an opportunity. Do you take it? Maybe it's too hazardous for the bridge to step into that, but.
The big problem that I see, the raised grant and the issues that it raises. I did not do that on purpose.
Did he just use an acronym?
I did.
He did.
And I followed the link to open the acronyms, but see raised on that list. So that grant is about how the bridge will interconnect with the existing systems. And the fundamental problem is, I keep on hearing people say things like, well, no one's going to ride their bike across the bridge because you can't get to it. And it's like, yeah, you can't get to it because there never was a bridge you could ride your bike across. So this project is about creating those links so that so you don't have to ask those questions. But then as soon as those links exist, all the other parts of the transportation planning are done within the city. In this case, because there's a slight county impact because of, on the Hood River side, but there's city and county issues. And I'm not sure that we want to be taking those on beyond figuring out how we connect to them.
Your thought right now was to get more data, maybe missing data holes. where it's kind of factual data of like, here's how many people you have in this area, here's how many bikes you have in this area, and then let somebody else take that data and go figure out what they want to do with it. But that would, I could talk to them about like identifying opportunity areas. To me, it starts, what's an opportunity area, right?
Yeah, it can get slippery quickly.
Yeah, so.
But it's how do you create a vision that someone can run with?
I'll see if they've done something like that before.
Yeah, because it's the difference between you have a system that doesn't work because it had a missing link, so we're looking backwards.
Right.
How do you turn that into a forward-looking thing by, all of this is here now, so you could do this.
Can we clarify, because I'm maybe not, I want to make sure. Are we talking about things that we do as part of the bridge, or we're talking about things that the cities and the counties do?
Yeah. Cities,
and why would we want
counties.
to be involved at all in?
Well, we want the cities and the counties to connect to the bridge. So we want the transportation elements to connect to the bridge.
Sure.
Yes. But they just present the bridge and say, well, why isn't anyone coming onto this? There's no road, no paths. So we have to do that. And we also want to enable them to go after significant grant funding that exists for this sort of interconnection. Yeah. So it's in everybody's interest to figure out how to get this whole network together.
Got it.
How to get it to function.
I'm sorry if I can throw another question in here because I've always wondered about this. When we made design decisions about the bike path and the pedestrian path, were those design decisions made on data points about expectations of this interconnectedness to the transportation?
You say expectations, sure, but not data, right? There is no data.
And that's part of what we were.
There's no bike trips across the bridge.
No, I'm fully aware of that. I thought that out myself.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm asking, let me just be clear about my question. We have a design right now, design concept that costs X to put a bike and a pedestrian path of a certain size. In fact, it's as large as one of the lanes when you put it together.
Right.
Even services. Okay. So there's a design concept with a cost.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what is the I don't know what the word is. Data is evidently not the word.
There's a model.
What is the data that we are using to justify our design choice? I mean, because we're assuming that people are going to use it, a certain number of people are going to use it, that they're going to use it in certain ways, and all this has to do, I think, with the connectedness you're referring to. So I'm just wondering, is all of this tied together into what you're saying?
There's a model. We have
how much data do we have?
We have two major drivers that we are very aware of and that can easily get data for. One is the number of people who live on one side and work on the other side and commute regularly back and forth. And then the second is the amount of tourist traffic in the area, the number of people who come here to see things and stand at the waterfront and gape at the sailors, et cetera. So we know that there are very large numbers of both of those. And so there was a model that was used in generating this facility, which is that there's going to be casual use, and you can also look at the Columbia River Highway State Trail, and you look at the traffic that goes between Mosier and Wood River as another example. So you know that there's difficulty in managing traffic of different speeds, and different volumes, and seasonal volumes, et cetera. And so all of that went into the discussions. But in terms of do we know what it's going to be? Yeah, anyone who looks at it always projects it based on their own use. It's like, well, this is how I would be using it.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's how people are going to use it. And it's really going to be a case where it has multiple purposes. First, that it has high-speed travel lanes, it has the meandering lane, and it doubles as an emergency access since it is a two-lane bridge, and you can get an emergency vehicle out there to pull someone out of a wreck. So you put all those things together, and the design that they've come up with is a no-brainer.
Well, thanks for that, because I was missing that information. But it was kind of a roundabout way of asking you, the assumptions that have gone into this seem to be based on this connectedness. And now you're talking about, you used another word for it, but I'm wondering if the part of this that might be interesting to us is the part that makes happen the assumptions that we have made to justify the amount of money that we're spending.
Well, that, and we also have some, one of the themes that we have is one community, and that came out of the aesthetics work and that sort of thing. So are there elements that we can create on top of this transportation plan that makes someone in Hood River want to put their family on bikes and ride over to Bingen and attend an activity? Is there someone who wants to ride their bike to work but can't get their head around getting up to Skyline Hospital, and there's a shuttle that lands down there and a place to leave your bike or something? So that provides an alternate for someone not to have to spend the toll to go to work. And there's another kind of outgrowth. And those are the type of things. And it's not that we're going to do them, but are we thinking about them and listing them in that raised plan as opportunities that could then continue to improve that effort?
And part of the allocation of the space on the bridge was based on the need for 2 lanes, the shoulder widths that were there. What was the original layout, right? Which was 2 12-foot lanes, 2 12-foot shoulders,
8 foot.
6 or 8 foot of bike lanes.
2 12-foot lanes, 2 8-foot shoulders.
Was that 8 foot? Yeah, that's right. 2 12, 2 8, 8 foot or 6 foot bike lane. And reallocating that to be a more useful, not take away the long-term flexibility, but what's a more useful allocation of that space.
Yeah, you think
that's kind of how we ended up with typically.
There's a key point in there that may have been lost. It wasn't that we added to the size of the bridge in order to do this. Instead, we saw that we had 8-foot shoulders on both sides, and we want to have the ability to route traffic around if there's an accident and to rescue people if there's a serious accident. But the 8-foot shoulders were just asking for trouble in terms of people stopping to take their picture and do whatever that they think they're going to do on the side of the lane.
Bikes
right
in the breakdown lane.
Right. So by taking 4 feet off of each shoulder, putting those 4 feet onto the third lane, and then acknowledging that third lane as an emergency access lane, that was a really clever solution to deal with both of those problems. And just still, with 2 4-foot shoulders, there's still room with cones to get around a broken car. But you may have your ambulance coming on the bike lane.
Yeah.
And that also starts to support the new public space.
There's also a snow removal issue because you have to be able to get snow off that lane. If it's narrower than a regular travel lane, then you need different sort of snow removal device.
If we get snow again.
If we ever get snow again. I think we will get at least one storm.
All right. That was a good one, Jake. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for asking those questions. Those are key questions.
Catherine again.
Yeah. Catherine?
Thank you, sir. I think also the question is, I want to make sure that I heard the question too, that we're not just creating this bridge and we're not just assuming people's intent for the bridge. We asked them too. And we have a community meeting where we had the design out and we took comments and stuff as well. So I just want to just remind. Yes.
Yeah.
So there is, it's not just.
Attended.
Right. So I just wanted to, the question about, who decided the lane picks, we also did ask the community for their usage and what they believe they would be doing with the bridge. We didn't just assume. And I guess the second question though is to us, do we know if the counties and the cities and the ports and are all going after funding for the raise grant? And is that outside our scope? And if so, I just think it would be, do we want to help facilitate communication between these groups, as us as commissioners or in our own private roles? Obviously don't want to tap staff, but.
Or you put on a different hat.
Right, but it's harder if we're all going against the same money if we don't have a plan. And I just don't know, Jake, if you because you held all those meetings too. So I just want to, is there a way communications can assist in making sure their interconnections are there? Because that is obviously, if you build it, hopefully they will come, but if there's nowhere to get there, it would be obviously hard. And I think that's the point that I heard in that question. Over.
Well, I think definitely the first step is providing a really robust action plan that different entities can take and run with. So be able to do this traffic study, I think is going to be a huge addition to an already pretty great plan. And then, can we facilitate? Sure. I mean, I think we as an authority, we can engage with the representatives of the municipalities and say, what's going on. I don't think we need to be in the driver's seat though. I think that's their role. I would also say that all the municipalities have been very engaged in this process. And so seeing that engagement shows me that there is an interest to do something with this study. It's not just going to be put on a shelf. I think it's going to be used. So
they're part of the committee, aren't they? Right?
Correct.
Everyone from the Columbia River Highway Commission to the City of Hood River, City of White Salmon, City of Bingen, they're all part of this.
WashDOT, ODOT, yeah, they're all part of it. So.
Just people kind of think that these things are easy, but when you start to look at the details of the fact that the bike ped lanes are on one side, and you have to get travel that's on both sides of a street onto that one side, involving a traffic circle at one end and a complicated nest of roads and trails on the other side. So how that all comes together to actually get people to the entrance to the bridge is going to be a good design problem.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen the solution. I saw a solution.
I keep telling them that you're going to be asking. So
well, I've been asking, and I decided to step back because you showed me some drafts. I told you what I thought was wrong with them, and I stepped back.
I told them, I said, Commissioner Babbitts is going to ask what we use to design our road on the Oregon side. You better have a good answer.
Okay.
So we have a bike box.
Okay, we'll talk about
bike box.
Okay.
Give him a DDI.
I've been waiting to go through with him. So I told him, I said, you better be able to defend it to me. So.
Bicycle DDI. Diverging diamond interchange. I use the acronym just for you, man.
I had a hotel room sitting on top of a diverging diamond interchange in Utah. And so for like 2 hours, I watched the traffic in this interchange. What are they doing? Anyway.
All right. And with that, maybe we're done.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Next meeting, Monday, April 27th. And we have to look forward to a law refresher.
Yes.
That'll be the highlight.
Well, it's interesting. It's not only a refresher. Some of the law is brand new.
Yeah.
If it's even been signed. Do you know if the governor signed the changes?
I'm not sure.
Considering a veto.
She's considering a veto. Okay, I heard that. So it'll be very much up to the minute.
All right. All right. So we'll see you then. Thank you. Thank you.